Welcome to an exploration of the baffling mystery of Atlantis, long held as an ancient civilization of otherworldly knowledge. The secrets of Atlantis have been sought by adventurers, archaeologists, philosophers and scientists alike. In this video, we dive into the evidence, rumors and mysteries that surround this lost world, to uncover the truth behind its demise and its potential rediscovery. Prepare to be amazed by the theories and clues that could lead to the answer that eluded mankind for millennia, the secrets of Atlantis. Stories, movies and history books have tantalized audiences with the mysterious tale of Atlantis, the sunken utopia of advanced wisdom and peace. Could this place be real? What exciting secrets could it reveal? For many centuries, treasure hunters and occultists have searched high and low for the lost island, investing fortunes and risking their lives. But what do we really know about the hidden paradise? Why has it been mentioned throughout history? What could have made it so legendary?
Legendary!
The answers remain an enigma, but the mystery of Atlantis continues to excite and amuse us all. Legend has it that the myth of Atlantis was first recounted by the wise philosopher Plato in his writings Timaeus and Critias, almost 2.5 millennia ago. What is fun and paradoxical is that today many speak of Atlantis as a peaceful paradise, while in Plato's writings he describes it as a threatening superpower hell-bent on world domination. With its luxurious wealth, advanced technology and mighty military might, Atlantis fell as a result of its town corruption and greed. If this is true, imagine if it existed today, its inhabitants and rulers would probably try to conquer and subjugate the rest of humanity. Can you believe it? Plato is said to have created Atlantis as a fictional literary element because there is no trace of it anywhere in the world. There is no evidence from anywhere in the world that Atlantis existed before the famous philosopher wrote about it. The tantalizing mystery of the mythical lost city of Atlantis. For centuries, some of the world's greatest thinkers have tried to discover the true story behind the saga of its destruction. Was it a real place? Was it an ancient disaster? Is there a scientific way to get to the bottom of this mystery? Enter geomythology, the fascinating field of research that attempts to connect mythical stories to real geological events. From major earthquakes to volcanic eruptions, unearth the secrets of Atlantis and explore the science behind the epic tales. Myths can be crazy ways of explaining real events, and may have some truth to them, also it is thought. One such example is the city of Dwaraka, which was supposedly visited by the Hindu god Lord Krishna. After Lord Krishna left, the city sank into the Arabian Sea. Like Atlantis, Dwaraka was thought to be a mythical place. But in 1963, archaeologists found remains of the sunken city off the coast of India, where it is believed to have been. This find raises the question of whether Atlantis is really just a myth. After all, Plato lived in a part of the world prone to tsunamis and earthquakes. Moreover, the legendary city of Troy was also a myth, but its discovery in 1882 brought the forgotten ruins of Atlantis back into the minds of so many people. And it was then that the first texts appeared that further popularized the myth. In fact, dozens of authors elaborated different versions of the lost island, which at the same time fed the beliefs of great masses of people. From the most advanced technologies, contacts with aliens or aquatic worlds inhabited by mermaids and tritons, Atlantis has deformed its history, until it became the white rabbit to follow down the rabbit hole. Ignatius Donnelly sparked the imagination of the public with his wide theory proposing that all great knowledge and advancement of civilization was rooted in the mysterious fabled lost land of Plato's Atlantis. An American congressman and serious history buff, the man had a mission to scour Plato's writings for evidence. Turning in his searches, he created a masterpiece of his own, The Antediluvian World, a book published in 1882 that presented his idea that the primitive world of ancient times was the root source of all modern scientific and cultural advances. To prove his case, the tenacious author even sent a copy of his book to Charles Darwin, surely an extraordinary feat of the time. On an enchanted island, hidden beyond of the majestic pillars of Hercules, lies the mysterious Atlantis, rumored to be covered by lush mountains stretching for miles. If tales are to be believed, the mystical kingdom lies in the vast Atlantic Ocean, in the hidden island gems known as Macaronesia. That is, the Azores, Madeira, the Weed Islands, the Canary Islands, and Cape Verde. The second hypothesis lowers the level a bit and assumes that Atlantis is a myth based on a civilization that fascinated the Greeks, imagining that the stories were exaggerated to the point of fantasy. Thus, the one that has gained more fame is the homologation of Atlantis, with the culture of Tartessos, which is that is well located, more or less, in the last part of the course of the Guadalquivir River, located in Cadiz. How so? Given that the capital was an island with channels, what has been suggested is that it was the archipelago of islands that the Greeks called Gadara, now Cadiz, whose shape was quite different from that of the present city. This makes one think a little, since the time in which Plato speaks of the sunken continent is the same time in which Herodotus speaks of the mystical king Argantonius of Tartessos, so perhaps it was a known story with some repercussions, although the end of the Tartessian culture seems to be a mystery. The third theory I'm going to present deals with a concrete historical fact that has become legendary over the generations. This is the Minoan or Cretan civilization, which was an important rival of mainland Greece. Its fame flooded the eastern Mediterranean and its ships were at war in several countries. It had a rich culture, was an important economic center for a long time, and its people enjoyed a high standard of living by the standards of the time. For some historians, one of the causes of the decline of the Minoan civilization was the eruption of the volcano of the island of Santorini, formerly called Terra, around 1500 before Christ. If you search on Google Maps, for example, you can see the current shape of the Greek island Paradise, which is a testimony to the natural disaster that occurred thousands of years ago. The eruption was one of the largest ever recorded in Europe. The smoke cloud covered the sun for several days in places as far away as Egypt. Even in China, its effects could be seen in the sky. Thus, this catastrophe and the disappearance of the Minoan culture would correspond to Plato's myths. The scientific world may regard Atlantis as a myth, who can prove otherwise. Many have tried to justify Plato's sources, could it be Santorini or Andalusia? However, no one has definitive proof, so Atlantis continues to captivate minds. The enchanting stories of Dwaraka and Troy are perhaps just as mysterious and shrouded in fog. Who could have imagined that the secrets of the past were just waiting to be revealed? And then there are the mysteries that can remain mysteries forever. That adds a certain je ne sais quoi to life, doesn't it? Alas, whatever the secret of Atlantis, they are destined to remain with her, at least for some time to come. Thanks for watching and see you next week on this same channel. Bye bye!